Hellsing Ultimate. What can I say? Well, actually a lot, because holy crap. I honestly don't think I've seen an anime this brutally violent before, and that is saying a lot, because that's my favorite thing. Like, you thought Berserk was insane, you haven't seen anything yet. Earlier this month, we covered the original Hellsing series, and I was perfectly happy with that. However, there was an overwhelming amount of requests for me to cover Ultimate, so here we are. Don't say I never did anything for you. This is an extra video, an extra entry in Hellmouth 2020, the Hellmouth opens wider. This is Hellsing Ultimate. Let's get into it. Hi everybody, this is Mike. I just wanted to talk to you really quickly about Displate. Displates are excellently printed metal posters that are easily interchangeable because they are hung on the walls with magnets. Honestly, I'm very big into decorating my living space. Displate has been my absolute go-to for years, and now we have partnered with them. But if you're looking for a good way to help out the channel, if you follow our link in the description to Displate, any purchase you make will automatically help out the channel. Anyway, thank you so much for your time, and on with the show. Now, I think we all know by now that the original Hellsing is right up my alley. You got vampires and art style reminiscent of classics like Trigun and lots of blood and guts. And honestly, it was enough for me. I'd perused the first OVA of Hellsing Ultimate before. I saw the art style, which was much more reminiscent of something like Full Metal Alchemist. I saw the 3D animation on the guns. I saw the chibi Mimi Seras part, and I noped out. And yes, all you people out there who just got mad at that can feel vindicated because I'm aware I f***ed up. Hellsing Ultimate is, well, the ultimate animated version of Hellsing. There's a lot of similarities to the original. You got the through the chest. However, the original is often given flack for deviating from the manga, but I had no idea how far it had actually gone into left field. Now I do. And wow. Ultimate is a completely different monster with a completely different premise. One I was legitimately hesitant to talk about considering the material and a certain website's penchant for strikething anything and everything they can, so let's lay down some ground rules. Okay, so despite what these guys look like, they are called little mustache minions, and these guys are followers of the annoying orange. Haha, I kid. They're actually warriors of the Catholic Church, you know, crusaders. Wait. Anyway, let's just do this. This is Alucard. He's a vampire. His hobbies are shooting the shit out of things and drinking blood. He's also the main weapon of the Hellsing organization, which was indeed created by Abraham von Hellsing, classically known as the Slayer of Dracula. Hellsing is a British enclave, the Royal Order of Protestant Knights, and they specialize in taking care of demonic issues within the UK. And by taking care of, I mean they send in Alucard and he turns everything into a bloody pulp by fist or by firearm. The order is run by Lady Integra Fairbrooke Wingate Hellsing, the last of the Hellsing bloodline, who loves cigarillos and holds the proverbial chain around Alucard's neck. I would also like it if she would step on my neck. Then of course there's Seras Victoria, ex-cop turned vampire and Alucard's ward. And let's not forget the butler Walter, who has some kind of string powers, I don't know. Either way, together they are more than a formidable team and leave a swath of blood and guts wherever they go. And honestly, things are pretty chill until they start messing around in Ireland, which pisses off the Vatican. You see, despite the mutual umbrella of Christianity, Catholics don't particularly appreciate Protestants. Well, actually the feeling is mutual, especially in the UK. I mean, hell, Ireland is still technically two countries, with Northern Ireland being predominantly Protestant and the South being Catholic. Britain is a Protestant country, all thanks to King Henry VIII really wanting to get a divorce back in the 16th century. So naturally, Hellsing's presence in Ireland ruffles the feathers of the Iscariot, aka Vatican Section 13, and its butthead leader, Enrico Maxwell, who believes Catholics have the only right to rid the world of the supernatural because they are the best and they still think Northern Ireland is their land. And just for the record, the Vatican is a Catholic organization, just so we're square on religious standings here. So Maxwell sends in Paladin Alexander Anderson to intervene, which is a great place to recommend the dub. I generally watch things subbed, but I usually check out the dubbed version for a minute at least, just in case it isn't garbage, and Ultimates was so good that is how I proceeded to watch it. Father Anderson's Scottish brogue was great, and accents are very important in the series thanks to its characters coming from all over Europe. So anyway, Father Anderson is a real Bible thumper with regenerative powers and a sadistic side who kinda kicks the crap out of Alucard here and there, but this is all just fun and games so far, because things get crazy. Hear me out. Undead little mustache minions. Yeah. While Hellsing and the Iscariot have their little pissing contest, in the background a group called Millennium, which in no way was any reference to a rule that was supposed to last for 1,000 years, has been gearing up in South America for war. Why? Simply to wage it, well, at least at first. Millennium is headed by the Major, who is one of the best antagonists I have ever had the pleasure of experiencing. Completely psychopathic, a real Joker type who just wants to watch the world burn. He is pure evil incarnate, laying down epic line after epic line about the glory of war and death. You see, back in World War II, he was the head of a werewolf unit, because, you know, little mustache minions and their love of the occult. Anyway, at the time, he was a first lieutenant of the Little Mustache Minion Army Protection Squadron, which makes more sense if you know your German, when he was given Order 666 from the OG Little Mustache Man himself to create an army of artificial vampires. Of course, this was stopped by Alucard and Walter on Hellsing's behest, and the Major was later beaten, shot, and left for dead while trying to protect Berlin from the Soviets. As he was dying, blood came to him in an effort to make him a vampire, but he shooed it away before being rescued by the doctor and becoming a flippant cyborg. Now this little chubby robo is coming with the full force of vampiric little mustache minions on a freaking zeppelin to assault London, which he does to great effect. Meanwhile, the Iscariot, headed by the newly promoted Archbishop Maxwell, sees this onslaught as a great opportunity to take out Hellsing and save the world from undead little mustache minions. So of course they show up with 3,000 crusaders sporting the Mississippi chic. Again, Hellsing Ultimate is by far one of the most brutal, gory anime you will ever witness. As the three factions crash into London, it is absolute pandemonium. The idea was to recreate the bombing of London from World War II, while, you know, also taking out Hellsing, and honestly, the Major and his little mustache minions did a very good job. Vampires and jackboots slaughter in the streets, and Archbishop Maxwell, now drunk with power, decides this is a good opportunity to get rid of all of those pesky Protestants, as well as Hellsing and the minions of the mini-stash. So basically, London is totally f***ed, and it doesn't even end there. You see, Alucard is out on a boat somewhere, taking his sweet ass time because vampires can't cross large bodies of water on their own, so Seras is held up in the Hellsing mansion alone with a mercenary group called the Wild Geese. These boys were hired as extra security against the mini-mustache onslaught, specifically one led by a scythe-wielding psycho called Zoran Blitz, an onslaught on Hellsing Manor itself. And it is like the flippin' Alamo, man. The Geese's leader, Pip, does everything he can to hold down the fort, but the bloodbath ensues. Eventually, he is killed and offers himself to Seras after her arm is torn off, and when she consumes him, he becomes a part of her, adding to her strength and also giving her this new cool wiggle arm. I don't know, it looks pretty dope. However, this brings into light the true powers of a vampire in the Hellsing universe, something not as explored in the original anime. Vampiric power varies from franchise to franchise, bottoming out at Twilight, like really what the actual f*** is wrong with Stephanie Meyer. But Alucard in particular has got to be one of the greatest vampiric entities ever depicted in media. He eventually sweeps into London to clean up the trash, and both the soldiers of the Vatican and the mini-stash Marines immediately turn focus on him, and this is where we not only witness the full extent of his abilities, but also his internal pain. Upon his arrival, he lets loose an army from hell at Integra's command after releasing restriction level 0. And it turns out that Alucard is a one-man war front. We realize that every single soul he's ever consumed has become part of him, millions of undead slaves to his will, familiars. He proceeds to tear apart both the mustache minions and the holy rollers with his endless waves of souls turned corporeal. However, we do see another side to Alucard, a deep sadness, particularly during his duel with Father Anderson. Anderson sacrifices his mortality in an attempt to defeat Alucard, who wrecks him anyway, but this causes the vampire to actually weep, lamenting the father making the same mistake that he made himself so long ago. Now, it is important to note that Alucard is not only Vlad Tepes, the historical Dracula, but also Bram Stoker's Dracula in this universe. And Vlad Tepes did not lead a happy life. As a child, he was a hostage of the Ottomans, and his father, the Voivode, or warlord of Wallachia, as well as his older brother, were killed when Vlad was young. Vlad then had to flee his homeland, which was constantly battled over by the Turks, Hungarians, Ottomans, and Saxons. He eventually returned to rule Wallachia, but was run out by his second cousin and forced into exile. Then he comes back again, kills his cousin, grabs Wallachia for himself, and vows to to protect it no matter the cost. So he impaled people, freeing anyone for anything, any crime, prisoners of war. He even invented a way to do it so people would live for 5 days shish kebabbed on those stakes. He set all of his victims out on the borders of his country, which actually repelled the Ottomans, Hungarians, and Turks from invading. He literally terrified and disgusted the Ottoman Empire, one of the most vicious armies in history. Eventually, though, he was caught and killed. However, in the anime, in Hellsing, at his execution, he drank the blood of the battlefield and became a true vampire. Now, I'm not going to spoil the anime. I do want you to watch it because damn, it is gnarly, but the tragedy of the life or lack thereof of a vampire is always interesting. As Alucard sheds tears over Anderson, the man tells him to stop. He says that monsters don't cry, and that's why Alucard became a vampire, right? To stop the tears. Clearly, Tepes loved his home. He became a monster to protect it, but lived so long that Wallachia doesn't even exist anymore. Everlasting life isn't life because without death, there is no life, just existence, aka a lack of what makes us human. It's cited in various places that Alucard is masochistic, actually getting hit and torn to shreds on purpose in fights. Perhaps it's his desire to be close to death which compels him to take the hits. I mean, in reality, he isn't even the man we generally see. He's simply a cloud of what's called dark composition. He chooses to look human. He doesn't even need to physically drink blood. He has hemokinesis, meaning he can simply control and absorb blood at will. Taking the form of a man and getting shot full of holes before laughing at the futility of it all may not be as it comes off. Perhaps Alucard is simply laughing at himself, at his fate to exist forever as a shadow, as nothing but a bringer of death. But hey, while you chew on that, I recommend you go and watch Hellsing Ultimate. It's quite the ride. Hey everybody, what's up? This is Mike. I just wanted to say thank you so much to our super special patron of the week, Alejandro El Gran. Thank you for being our patron and of course our Super Saiyan God of the week. Maid Chloe the Kelpie Devourer. Oh my god, we have our own maid. That's right, in the Discord, in the Patreon. If you haven't yet, make sure to follow us on social media and watch all the rest of our videos. Check us out on Twitch. Don't forget that display link in the description. Subscribe if you like what you saw. My name's Mike, this is Bonsai Pop. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you Saturday.